Hey, so today I'm going to teach you how to balance a really heavy lens on the Ronin SC. So before we start, what you're going to want to do is set up your camera. So we have two things here. We have our base plate. This one is from SmallRig. And then we have the riser that came with the Ronin SC. So we're going to put the riser on first. And what we're going to do is make sure that one of these holes is lined up with the center of your lens. That way, when we put on the base plate, it's gonna be nice and in the center of our lens. Okay, so we're gonna put on our base plate now. And when I do this, I make sure that, you know, everything is lined up so that it's not off to the side, it's not crooked, it is even and parallel and all that. Again, make sure things are pretty parallel. There's only one screw connecting the cage to this camera, so it can wobble within there. So just make sure that like these lines are nice and like, you know, straight and stuff. So now we're actually able to start balancing. So we're gonna take our gimbal, we're gonna lock off this axis at least. So now we're just dealing with and tilt, roll, the tilt axis. I don't know, but we're just dealing with this one axis. It's very convenient that you can lock these off. So let's slide it in there, and we're gonna give just a very rough balance. So just, you know, it's not too far forward, it's not too far back. It's not that important, because what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take this and we're gonna go and bring our camera straight up and down. So now what we're looking for is to use this knob and balance the camera so that when you let go, it doesn't go forward or backwards. So obviously if it's going backwards like this, you gotta bring the camera forward. And if it's going forward like this, you gotta push the camera back. So mine is going backwards, so we're gonna bring that down, boom. So I would say that is balanced. Now, because that's very important, I feel like that's one thing that people forget about when they go to balance their gimbal, and they might just take this and just drop it all the way down because it seems like it's balanced. In reality, it's not. So now that we have this axis balanced, or just about, because we might have to go back and refine it a little bit, we're gonna go ahead and balance the actual tilt part. So it's tilting back, so obviously we gotta move it forward. Now it's tilting forward, we gotta move it back. And that's really all it is. It's just playing with it. If it's tilting forward, tilt it back. If it's tilting back, push it forward. And when you're doing this, make very small movements, because it doesn't take much to, like, if you push it back too far, like all of these movements are just really small. They're just really minor adjustments every time, because you're just fine tuning it. So that looks pretty good. We can go back to our other test and it's still balanced. So now what we're gonna do is take this little knob right here and we are going to tighten that. Make sure that we don't lose that position, because we're gonna lock off that axis and unlock this other axis, which is the tilt axis, I think. So as you can see, mine is tilting this way, so we gotta push the camera that way. Oh, boom, just like that. Okay, now it is tilting that way, so we gotta push it this way. And again, very small adjustments, so I'm just gonna do one click and that's it, and that should fix our problem. So now if we unlock both of those axes, the camera should stay in place. And finally, we are going to look at the roll axis. So we're gonna lock both of these, and now we're looking at this axis right here. So the way that you balance this axis is you take your gimbal just like this, and you go sideways. So you see how it's turning forward like that? That means that you have to take the entire rig and push it backwards. Okay, again, we take it. See, now it's going the other way. So now we have to take the entire rig and push it forward. This one specifically, you have to make really, really small adjustments. So that's what we're looking for. When we take the gimbal sideways, the camera doesn't move. It doesn't go forward, it doesn't backward, it doesn't spin, it doesn't do anything. It just stays. That is exactly what we're looking for. Now, what we have to do is we have to unlock all of our axes and make sure that the camera just stays in place. So Like, you should be able to put the camera here. You should be able to go like this. It's not looking too bad. We can try to turn on the gimbal. Ideally, you should be able to position the camera in different orientations and it will just stay in place. That's how you know it's really balanced, is when you can take the camera and move it somewhere and it just stays. So let's test it. So we're gonna go ahead and bring up the Ronin app on our phone. Okay, let's turn on the gimbal. Perfect. And we're gonna go down to balance test, and it wants you to go and tilt it at an angle of more than 15 degrees. And then we're gonna click begin test. We're gonna just wait while it does its magic. It actually says that it's excellent. So that was balancing with the Ronin SC, because now apparently it's balanced. So the camera is now balanced, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna rebalance it and add some of these weights. So I think that these weights change everything. What they do is you see this lens, right? This is all of your weight. The camera weighs nothing compared to the lens, so what you're doing is pushing back and finding the center of gravity compared to this lens. Now you're adding weight to the back of the camera, and you can even come here and, you know, your handle side is a little heavier than your non-handle side, so you can add some weight on the non-handle side to compensate for that. It makes everything a whole lot easier. That's all I'm saying. So I have two weights here. I have a 100 gram and a 50 gram. And what we're gonna do is we're going to take the 100 gram and we're just gonna plop it. We're just gonna plop that right over here. The reason I put it on this side is because it's opposite of the handle side, and having this weight is going to bring obviously some weight to this side of the camera. So now we can push the camera forward. This will eliminate some clearance issues too. However, because this lens is so heavy, I'm going to add another weight right about here. So it's not fully off to the side, but it's just kind of in the center. So obviously we have to make some adjustments and rebalance. So I can tell right now that it has to go something like that, and I don't know, something like that. I just did a very quick adjustment just to start off. We're going to do the exact same thing that we've been doing, and let's start off by adjusting this axis. So it's moving forward, so we have to push it back. So let's just bring that up like that. Oh, it's a little too far forward, so let's bring that down, and that looks pretty good. Okay, now on to just the tilt axis. So we gotta push that forward. That looks pretty good to me. Boom. Don't forget to go ahead and tighten this little blocking thing so that it remembers your place. All right. Now what we're gonna do is look at the roll axis. I'm not good with the names, but we're gonna look at this axis right here. So all I have to do is push it to the side, one, and that should be good. All right, we are all good there. And finally, yet again, we have to get the pan axis. Okay, so again, what we're gonna do is take our gimbal and we're gonna go like that. So it's going to the front, so we have to push it back. It's going to the back, so we have to push it forward. And that is perfect. So let's unlock all of our axes. And now we should be able to position the camera just about anywhere that we want, and it is going to, you know, stay there. Let's go back into our app again. Actually, let's turn on the gimbal. Let's go back into our app and let's go to that same balance test. Let's try that out. Let's see if we are balanced. And it is balanced. So the next thing that you want to do after you have the rig balanced is go into the app, motor parameters, and you want to do auto tune. So it's going to test all of the motors and it's going to get you the correct settings. So it's gonna, what's really doing is just making sure that the motors are powerful enough without being too powerful. So you can see my results right here. What I'm gonna do is increase all of these by about 5. Okay, and we should be good. So now we have our camera balanced on the Ronin yet again. Okay, this has been how to balance a heavy lens on the Ronin SC. If you know that you're gonna be having heavier lenses, I wouldn't bother getting the Ronin SC at all. It's just, it's not there. And you'll know, like, if you try to use this gimbal with these heavier lenses, you could see it like lagging, or it's just not being powerful enough. It's not designed for these big lenses. It's designed for small lenses. So if you know that you're gonna have these big lenses, I wouldn't recommend this gimbal whatsoever. Just get the Ronin S, maybe step it up to a Ronin M, maybe, but definitely don't go with the Ronin SC. Hopefully this was helpful for you. And yeah, be sure to like the video if you like it, subscribe because I know you're probably not subscribed. And as always, have a great rest of your day or something. Okay? Okay.